Hi guys, I'm Celeste. I've not started getting ready for the day. I just put on clothing. Well, I was already wearing pajamas, but you know what I mean. No, you don't know what I mean at all. You weren't here for that part. Okay. How did I forget which one was a light switch? And which one was whatever it's called, the fan? Anyway, I have coffee. I'm Celeste, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Just putting myself out there, you know. For all of the world to see, and this will get 4 views, and that's a lot. That's like half the planet. I don't know what you guys thought, but like there's only like 8 people on the planet anyway, so I don't really know what you were expecting. Like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, I need a new job. I didn't get fired, but I need a new job. I might get fired. I deserve it. I don't know why it didn't happen yet. But that's not the point. Hopefully I don't until I get a new job. But like, I just need to get a new one. Like, I just need to get a new one, you know? That's not that big of a deal, right? Like, I could just get a new one. Like, I seem hireable, I guess. Do I want to? Not really. I guess that's the problem. I feel like I see Earth and I'm like, but I could design a better one. And that doesn't really help me here on Earth. I'm like, here's the ideal way that this would operate, actually. And I could just do that, and that would be great. Oh, wait, I'm actually the one who's on the planet. Like, that doesn't help. The fact that I would be really, really, really good at, the job that's just not in my pay grade, which would be just designing a new planet to replace it. Oops, sorry, that would be more in my, what I would be good at. That's what I would be good at. Because I can see like structures of things and I'm like, here's what I would replace this with that's honestly better. And that's not even that hard to do. So the fact that that's the part that I don't get to do and I just have to be here on the planet and know that I could have just designed a better one, it is kind of annoying. It's kind of weird. Anyway, I have coffee right here. I think I said that. I don't know. I had a weird dream last night. In my dream, this girl who I used to be friends with was there. There were other people there. I don't know, I guess it was maybe like a work environment kind of. It seemed kind of like an office job. I have a lot of dreams that are like in an office job type setting. I've worked at one before, so it's not like shocking, but I don't now, so like it's kind of like out of place, I guess. Anyway, it was funny because like the first thing I noticed about this girl was that her voice had changed, but I was like super aware of it. I was like, okay, so her voice, it didn't sound good. Like, it sounded very like squeaky and very like weird, which again, I'm like, if I'm saying that, then that's crazy. If I'm saying that, then that's crazy. But that's how her voice sounded now, and I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, she wanted to buy a pizza, and then I was like, oh, like, let me know if you want to like split the cost of the pizza, because then I'll just like give you half, and then you could pay for the other half, like if that makes sense. I was like, just tell me like the cost, I'll give you half of it. I was like that's cool with me. And then she was like, I don't know, she was like, no, it's fine. I was like, okay, like if you change your mind, like I'll just give you half, like still fine with me even if you change your mind, whatever. So the girl just starts crying. I was like, all I did was say I could give you half the pizza. Like she's just crying, like hysterically crying. But it's like about the pizza, and it's like about what I just said, which was, if you change your mind, like I'll just still give you half. Like I thought that was like normal to say, like okay, like whatever, not that big of a deal, you know, not that big of a deal. Either way, because then you just say okay, and then it's like, that's it. Okay, that's what I would think. You just say okay, and then that's it. Like I wouldn't think you start crying. Anyway, then her entire like family walks in the door, and they're all looking at me like, what did you do to her? Like you're terrible, like what did you do to her? Like that's so bad, right? They're like, that's so bad, I can't believe you would do something. Like no matter what, they did not, like I wasn't really saying anything. I was like, honestly, I know what I did and didn't do. I know what I did and didn't do. I know what I did and did not do. So the fact that I didn't do anything is still true, just because people are like getting that idea somewhere, you know. Just because of that, I was like, oh, all I did was say I would pay for like half the cost of the pizza, and there's a lot of people here. Why are they not doing it, you know? Like at the end of the day, if you really want to cry over me saying that I would like help because that was what we were all talking about, it seemed normal. At least I was under that impression. Anyway, yeah, like her entire family doesn't believe me, but I'm also not trying to defend myself, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I know me and like what I didn't do, which was whatever she's making up, I guess. I'm like, I honestly don't care. Then her like guy friends like walk in, and they're all like, they were like, don't take her light, or don't stand in her light or something, but then they were like fist bumping me. I was like, first of all, whatever you're saying doesn't make any sense. Like it's out of context. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. I was like, don't take her light? All I said was I would pay for half the pizza, guys. Like, but like the context was they were like, oh, like they thought I had hurt her some way, and that's why she was crying. But they were fist bumping me like they wished they had done it, but I was like, I didn't do anything. I was like, I still didn't, like, you know what I mean? It was just a dream, but like, I was like, damn, you're crazy. If I didn't know it yet, you're crazy. Like, I guess I failed to realize this about you forever ago. It's not like I know you now, but why are you coming to my dream just to be that crazy? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? I mean, if you're that desperate for like attention from somebody to the point where you're just gonna like fake cry because your family showed up when I offered to like pay for half the pizza, like, again, this was literally a dream, but it had me so like then you just have serious issues. Like that's extreme. That's extreme. That's crazy. That's so crazy. I don't know, the part that was like the weirdest was like when her family, or not family, when her friends walked in, and like it was like they were jealous of whatever I had done, because it was like they wished they had done that sooner, but it's like I didn't do anything though. Like it was all messed up. I was like, I have no idea who you are and why you're doing that. Like, whatever. I'm just getting coffee everywhere. Why is it so hard for me to like just drink this? Like it's not even hot anymore. It's literally cold. And that's terrible. So terrible. So terrible. But it had me thinking in the dream, like, why did I notice how annoying her voice was before she did all of that? You know? Like, so you're still willing to be awful to me, and I think I have an annoying voice sometimes. Like, you have to even want to, like, get better at something. You have to be like, okay, like, I'm pretty bad at this. I have to take it seriously if I want to get better. But sometimes you're confident, and then it gets in the way of you getting better. And that happens to people too. It's normal to love yourself, but if you're in your own way, it's hard to like undo that. Because then you're like, okay, like I already think I'm like pretty good though, like why would I have to get better? And then you're in your own way and it takes you like 10 years to figure out why you would get better instead of just getting better at something. I don't want the coffee anymore. I'll be back. Anyway, if someone else has like an annoying voice, it depends on what kind of annoying. I have an annoying life. So I wasn't gonna like completely judge you on that, you know? Like I have an annoying life. Like I have an annoying everything, including my voice and everything else. I can't think of a thing about me that doesn't seem annoying. I just am who I am either way. Because I don't care that much. Because I like myself, but it was your experience that was going to change depending on how annoying I am, not mine. I was just going to be me, you know? But no, I'm so flawed. Anyway, the main takeaways from her being that dramatic and annoying in the dream was that I'm annoying. Because in my brain I just switch it, I'm like, okay, so I'm probably the problem somehow still. Which is fine, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I just realize something about myself. Like I'm just realizing, which sounds kind of dumb, but like, you know how much I'm not thinking about it? Like I literally I was recording while I was brushing my teeth, but like I always do that. But isn't that weird that I always do that? Like that's so weird that I always do that. Like, it kind of makes me weird. you know? But it's also like, who isn't weird? But it's like, I don't need other people to defend that about me. It's more like, well, I'm just gonna be jealous of the ways that they're weird if I'm not weird. Like, I'm just gonna be weird about it. I'm gonna be like, if I wasn't weird in this way, I was gonna be weird in a different way, dude. If I wasn't weird in this way, I was gonna be weird in a different way. I don't know what that was. Sometimes I think my environment changes the way that I sing. Like, not immediately, but I feel like I'm like breaking in a new environment the same way you would like a pair of shoes. Like when I am somewhere different recording a song. So it takes me like 3 or 4 songs before I'm like, oh, this is like I'm actually like improving, getting better, like this is so amazing. Little did I know, I thought I was going to be able to take that part of myself with me when I went to a different environment, or I thought I would wake up the next day still that person that I had just created of myself, but it was gone. And so that part of me was like temporary just for that one moment. And I'm like, so I wasn't special, I guess. But it's like, I guess I thought I was, like, I don't know. But yeah. So I think a lot about what does it mean for someone to have like a dominant voice, right? Like I think about what part of their spirit it is. I think about it. When I think that nobody's ever going to listen or care ever, that's when I suddenly like get really good out of nowhere. Then the next day I'm in an environment that reminds me of the reasons why people would care, and suddenly it's like gone. I have to just be able to like believe that nobody's ever going to care, and then I'll like instantly get better. But like, how am I going to always be that? I have to always believe that nobody's ever gonna care. I don't know. I haven't decided, but I think about like, you know, other meanings of like people having like a dominant voice. Like it's not just your exact sound. I'm excessively explaining that to you, but yeah. I don't know all of the interpretations. So I am overly explaining it because I'm like, well, if this is like something I'm figuring out, then what if it's something you're figuring out? But then I sound stupid. I think it's the moments when I say, I know that nobody's ever going to care about this, but I still care about it, that I start to get better out of nowhere. And that's really hard to do. Because sometimes it's really hard to care about something when there's no possibility that other people are ever going to care. So it's like being able to say, in this moment, do I care more because of what I'm going to get out of caring about this? Or do I care more in this moment because I just care and I know that I'm never going to get anything out of that. Like that can be really hard. It can be really hard. But it's like finding where the purpose is within what I'm doing. More and more and more. And it's like I start to get better when I say I'm at the very start of my journey. When I'm like, wow, I'm getting better. This is crazy. then it goes all the way down to like 0, and I'm like, okay, so I have to remember that I don't matter, and then it is gonna get better. Like, it's, why do I think my brain has anything to do with it? That's probably a part of the problem, right? Like, I think that my brain could influence it. I think I'm that smart that like I could do it, I'm just doing it wrong. Like, I could mentally influence it, I'm just doing it wrong. Like, I'm too smart to not take it that seriously, but like too dumb to stop. Yeah. In moments where I'm completely sure that I'm the only one who knows what I mean by what I'm saying, I get better a lot faster. You know, if I'm able to like hold that energy, it'll like stay with me that I'm improving. Whoa. Eyebrow pencil running free out there. Almost again. So I'm trying to think of like, when do I invalidate? This is gonna be too light, huh? I can't tell because I have one of those skin tones where like everything, that sounds weird. Not everything looks like the right color. A lot of similar shades can look like the right color. Those are very different shades. But I have like, it'll be like I have a different color here, 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 like, but they're all my skin tone. My skin tone is a range of colors. I think everybody's is. But when I am thinking about makeup, I'm like, how do I just take an average skin tone of what mine is and then permanently use that? But skin tone like fluctuates. See, I can't tell. How would I know if that's too light or too dark or what that is? Obviously, here in the lighting, I look different than that. But like, yeah, it looks kind of light, huh? But then I turn into the lighting differently and it's like, I can't tell. Okay, so it looks light. If I blend it in, does it still look light? I have no idea. I know this one is too dark. And they're close. I know that looks light, but like, I have no idea what to do. Okay, it looks very light, I think. Like sunscreen, huh? I can't do this. I can't find an exact color. Okay, that's like if I were a ghost. But when it's super blended in, I know it looks like I still have like a very light chin, but like, again, I think makeup and what you choose, it's gonna be like another part of the voice, right? It's gonna be like, you have to be the one who's just confident in whatever you do, even though it's probably terrible. And you have to know that and be like, but I'm the one who made that choice. So I can, in this moment, stand by the choice that I'm actively making, even if it's weird. And even if other people would be like, why would you do that? Okay, I can tell now this is obviously a very light color. But the other one looks very light also when I put it on, I think. And then it looks darker when I blend it out. It's confusing. I have no idea. Or maybe I'm remembering the opposite. Let's see. What? That sounded so sad. I know it's light. I have very dark under eye circles. Let's see. I think being the one who understands myself is going to go very far in my life once I have that. once I put powder on it, I think it's gonna be fine. Like, I think I'm gonna like it. Why would my eyebrow start peeling? Like the skin under the hair? That's the most unnecessary. I think it's a test. Like, am I gonna judge myself because something is different? Where did I put that powder? Do I still have it? I do. Like, if you think about it, the YouTube video is a part of my voice too. Just the fact that it even exists. Let's see. I don't want to get makeup on my glasses, but you know what's gonna happen. Okay, yeah, to me that's like mediocre. Like, it makes me look sick, I think. Right? Like, less than before I put it on, but definitely more than if the color were a better match. I don't really have a bronzer that isn't in like a stick form. I'll find something to use that for, but it's not the right. I'm gonna have to probably mix a few different concealers or foundations to like find what I'm looking for in the future. This will be fine for now because it's not like terrible, but I do look a little bit like a vampire because I didn't get the color correct. Because this was way too dark. This was definitely too dark. So I didn't know if this was like way too light or fine. I know it looks kind of... I have no idea what my skin tone is. I just remember, okay, this was too dark. I mean, thinking about it now, it's like obviously. But like, this was also too dark and too orange. So I know this looks so light in this lighting, but like, skin color dysmorphia, I'm like, which one's me? you know? Like, how am I supposed to know? Yeah. But it's like maybe in different lighting this will look different. Okay, I need chapstick. My back. I think I'm gonna do it again. I'm going to use this to like outline my lips. It's just an eyebrow pencil, and then I'm just gonna use this on the inside and see if it works. I also have like mental issues, so I'll like look at it and I'll be like, but if it were more messed up, it would be better. Like it would look good. Like more than like if it were perfect. But like, I don't know. And when you're outlining your lips, you can kind of choose if you have like a Cupid's bow or not, you know? But who would I be to make choices like that about my own face and the way that I look? That would be crazy. For me to also be confident in the choices, like that's crazy. Or to permanently prefer one or the other, that's crazy. Who would I be if I had those rights about myself? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like in my brain, I'm like, someone else obviously chooses that about me. Next question. Like it doesn't, I don't know. I seriously have issues. I'm just laughing because of how bad this is looking. Yep. Oh my gosh. What was bad? You're gonna laugh. The saddest. I didn't do it because I thought it was gonna look good. I don't know if I've ever done anything in my life because I thought it was gonna go well. But that's kind of nice. Let's see. Like, it's like having more free will, you know? It's like, when do I have free will in my brain? I feel like I don't ever. Like, I feel like I'm so bad at having free will. It's so sad. But then when I think about it, I'm like, okay, what part of my life could I change over that? I'm like, I have no idea. Why would I choose for myself what part of my life I would change to have more free will? Like, it doesn't make sense. Anyway. That's kind of nice. Because it kind of reminds me of like a real person, you know? Yeah. Like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like bold, you know? Like, I feel like it's gonna bring that side of me out more. It's also kind of terrible, but like, that's kind of the point. The parts that look good are like supposed to look good, and the parts that don't were the parts I didn't really care about, I guess. So. It's like a coloring page. It's just my face. The texture on my chin, kind of not that good in this lighting. I'm not perfect. You can see the lips are kind of bad, but maybe I just have to get better at it, or I just have to care more. One of those two things is gonna happen someday, and it's gonna be so cool. One second, I have to get my tripod too. Okay, I'm gonna try to not end the video with all of my stupid tendencies catching up to me. It just has to. Whoa! I kind of like the makeup. Our world stresses me out because it's like you do have to get the right color foundation, because then, like, why did you think that you had like a lighter or darker skin tone? How are you trying to like be somebody else but you're not? And you're like, I accidentally picked it, but like, what if I'm a terrible person because I accidentally picked that one? You know? But then you're like, I mean, this one makes me look pink though in the lighting. Or it's the only part of me that I didn't put it on that looks pink. I have no idea. My eyes just look sick a little bit. Like, why did it look weird? Maybe because I've been calling into work all these days, telling people I'm sick. I'm gonna look sick to make up for what they believed in. I don't think that's how it works. But all the time I think that's how it works. I can't open a water bottle that much. Not because it's difficult, but you know, when you don't want to like get water, you don't want it to like explode, you don't want water everywhere. So, like, I feel like I could open it the way where water's gonna get everywhere and it's gonna like cut my like finger or something, but it's gonna be open. And then if I want to do it like the delicate way, it's just gonna take forever. So much more effort. Like, you know, it takes believing that you're a very reckless person to be delicate about anything, because it's constantly on your mind, like, I am the type of person this would happen to, so I have to like make sure that I'm not crazy. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. Like, you have to believe you're out of control to like the highest level. You have to really believe it. You have to think you're gonna walk into a room and like people start catching on fire and like it's your fault, but you believe that it's your fault, and then you're gonna be like the most delicate, like careful person ever, because you're like, well, if it did happen it would automatically be my fault because I'm a terrible person. And then you're like, now I'm like the most careful person ever, but now I'm also really angry and insulted when other people are not. And then you have to be like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Not everybody has the same problems that you have. You just have like issues, and that doesn't mean it's anybody else's fault that you have issues. You just have issues. Cheers. Cheers to the great outdoors. I don't know what about them, but the great outdoors are definitely out there. They're definitely out there, so we are told. I haven't been outside in a while, but so we are told. Cheers to the great outdoors. Now I'm being like careful to try to not get it on my lips because it'll like come off and then it's gonna like, you know, does anybody else have, as if you're gonna answer through the screen, but do you ever have those fears where you fully believe that like you're gonna walk through a swamp and your foot is gonna fall off, but like there's no swamp? Like, I live in Florida, but there's like no swamp, like it's dry outside, but I'm like, I have to prepare for the fact that I'm going to walk through a swamp and my foot is gonna fall off, and then I have to live the rest of my life that way. And I have to remember that like it could have been the rest of me, but it was only my foot. Like, but like, anyone else like fully believe that? And then you just live your life like you fully believe that that's like basically already happened to you, even though it didn't happen, and then you're like, so it must be the future? Question mark? It must be the future? Even though it's not, and you know it's not, but like you can't fix the fact that you already believe in it. I'm so boring. I'm so boring. I'm so boring, but I have to find out how to be less boring. I don't know how I'm gonna find out. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. I don't know. Do I like lack confidence in every way or something? Like, what's going on? Why am I boring? Why do I have no personality? Why do I have no personality? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like, why can't I take anything seriously, but I'm also so boring that, like, it's not like more than 3 people are gonna watch this, yet I think I'm gonna make a career out of it. In my brain, right? But it's like, one person's gonna watch this, and I'm not interesting, and I didn't really, like, try that hard to be interesting because I knew I wasn't interesting, so, like, I didn't do anything to try to be more interesting because I already knew I was not gonna be interesting, and I, like, you know, like, I knew it wasn't gonna go well, so I didn't try to make it go well, but it could have just gone well if I tried. And, like, I don't know. I have to find a different job. And then take it seriously. And, like, not call in. Because at a different job, they would probably just fire me for it. And I have to, like, but that would be the point of getting a different job, is like, well, then I have to be, like, accountable for, like, not doing that. But also, like, you know, I already have talked about it. If you watch those videos, and you know, like, my current job just lets me do that, but then the problem is I'm, like, unable to keep doing it. And they don't really let me do it, they just have been letting me do it, which isn't that good, but, like, I just feel like it was a wrong fit at the time, but it was what pushed me into creating albums, because I was like, all of the crazy in my brain that this is inspiring or forcing me to experience is now, like, pushing me to start, but it's not sustainable to stay at once I'm already in my purpose and working on that. Like, it doesn't become, like, sustainable, I guess. Like, I don't know. I'm too stupid to explain it, but too boring for you to listen to anyways, even if I were, you know, explaining it better. Like, am I in my comfort zone in life? Even though, what would make me not? Like, I have no choices. I'm gonna be, like, not upgrading for years either way. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because when I have ideas, it's like, do I have the resources for that? You know, like, when I have, like, creative ideas, I'm like, okay, what if that would, like, go viral, and then it would help me? Like, I'm like, I could just do that, but then it's like, do I have the resources for that? Do I have to believe in it for it to work, or does it just work? Like, I always believed in that, and so it never worked, because I was like, okay, so I believe in myself, and then, like, no results, and I was like, okay, I still believe in myself, like, even though there were no results, and then no results. I was like, okay, I tried my best. How embarrassing do I have to be? Is that how it works? What's the plan? But then I've, like, done embarrassing stuff before, or I've gotten out of my comfort zone before, or I've done the weird thing before and that didn't do anything. And I've made the new account or deleted the old content or whatever and started over and started over and started over every time it didn't work after a long period of time. And then I thought strategy was, like, a real thing. Like, I thought strategy was, like, a real thing. I thought that strategy was just, like, the structured thing where, like, once you reach a certain level of strategy, you get results. as long as it's like good or like what works for other people or something like that. Like I thought that was like real. I didn't think it was like this imagined standard that you can change at any time, but like you don't know when you're changing it and when you're not. Like before and after, I had some different perceptions of what it means. Like I thought I had to be something different, but then now I'm like, am I self-sabotaging and don't know it? But isn't it better to just put out the content even if it's boring and even if it's not good? But then it's like, okay, so I'm willing to just sit here in my comfort zone. And then it's like, well, what part of me hasn't like upgraded out of whatever I like had in my life? Like, what am I missing? What's the part that I don't understand? Because I thought I was doing my best, but like, what's the part that like I'm not getting, you know? Or is it that I'm willing to believe that I'm the one who doesn't understand something without evidence or proof or like a reason to believe that? But I don't know what kind of stupid I am. Or how much time I have to waste to find out what kind of stupid I am. But then I'm like, okay, so I still have to get a different job. And that changes what I'm thinking about throughout the day and the time, and it's like a major distraction to have to get a job where money comes from. Because that's always not been how I imagined getting money. But like, was I so bad at planning my life when I was born that I was like, I don't know. I survived. I think the people were nice a lot of the time. Not all the time, but there were times that the people were nice. So like, you know, people have worse. So like, what's the part where like I'm not getting it though? Like, is it mental? Is it mental? Because I swear my brain was spiraling for like so many years on end, and that was like the only part of me that was like doing anything. It was just like me spiraling, but then I believed the like wind on a tree was like my fault because I was crazy and terrible, even though nothing happened to the tree. And like I didn't do anything to cause it. And like that's stupid, but like it doesn't matter because I was intelligent enough to think of things that nobody had ever thought of. But now it's like, it's gone to waste for so many years. So it's kind of like, well, what if I should have just traded that for anything else? But then like, how do you work on your other chakras? Obviously your mind, you just think. And then you're like, I worked on it. The third eye, you just imagine things, you picture things in your brain, and then you see them, and you're like, I worked on it. The throat chakra, you just talk about something that you've never talked about, and you try to feel like how that feels. And then you think you worked on it, but you're not sure, and you just do it anyways. Like, I don't know how you work on the other ones. The heart, I guess you just find something to love, and then you keep going in that direction. The sacral chakra, I guess you're just creative. And you do the weird creative thing that like you weren't gonna do, but like how do you work on the other ones? What other ones are there? Like I forgot. Oh, I guess you have like a root chakra. How do you work on that? How do you work on that? Okay, I feel like I could just like Google it, but I'm not gonna believe them because it was always written by somebody who I feel like didn't know what they were talking about. Like, I don't believe that they knew what they were talking about when they wrote that. Like, who was this written by, you know? Like, that's kind of how I am. I'm like, okay, like, says you, like, says someone who's just, what, like, an AI answer, or they were just hired to write this? Or it's, like, an appropriation of something, like, but, like, in a bad way, you know? Because, like, I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, you weren't born there, but you, out of just like love and like pure intentions, had like a positive thing you learned from the culture versus like just stealing stuff and like tearing it apart and making it in a bad way or untrue or like not feel true. Because it doesn't have to be that like the way somebody else imagined it, that you can't adopt aspects of that as long as you actually believe what you're saying, but you can feel when somebody does not believe what they're saying. That's like a big problem with like what people spread with like modern spirituality, I guess. But even past stuff, you can feel when they didn't actually feel it or believe it when they said it. I could feel it when they were like, oh, well, this is what we're supposed to say. And like that happens across all boards. It's like, this is what we're supposed to say, so we're gonna do it, we're gonna say it. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm like, why can't I just like rip off the band-aid and like break all my chakras, dude, and just force them to be open and like ruined? If that's what it takes. If that's what it takes, like, if that's what it takes, then like, clearly not doing that doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm like, honestly, if that's what it takes, like, that's all it takes. I thought it was gonna be way worse than that. Is there some kind of art that I'm supposed to be making to like work on my root chakra? Is there a problem with it? I don't think so. But like, how am I supposed to understand why or how I'm not in my purpose so much that I'm just like good at things? Like, how am I supposed to just get it? I'm just supposed to understand that and then use it to be better? Am I an unnecessary degree of lost? Probably. But I thought that my mind was like where things like came from when I manifested things. But then I was bad at it and it didn't work. And everybody else who didn't try just got like, well, some people tried, but like sometimes people who didn't try just got better things. And I was like, but I tried so hard for that. It's weird, right? I'm just supposed to like believe in myself, right? Even if other people don't believe in me? Like, what am I doing that I'm not supposed to be doing? What am I not doing that I'm supposed to be doing? Like, why is supposed to even real? It just means somebody else decides for you, and I feel like I'm stuck. Because how am I supposed to be, again with that, but I was just, you know, when you're born into the human life, I believe that you go, I do believe that you go where the people who are similar to you at the time that you're born are. Okay? But what if soon after that you change as a person? And then you're like, well, I already started this life. You know? It's like, I can't just die, that would be tragic. You know? Like, it's not, like when you're young, you know, and you're like, okay, I've already changed as a person, but again, can't just die because that'd be a tragedy. It would be like, oh my god, that happened to like a child. And then you get older and you're like, okay, like I'm living my life, like I obviously survive, you know? Like that's obviously how the story goes, but like, well, it's supposed to be something different. If I outgrew my current place in life, is it not true that it would just have to change? Or is there such a thing as like truly being stuck where you've already outgrown in your life? And what does it require to have results? What are results? Why do I not know? I think my mind would spiral when I was younger because I believed that somebody else's opinion would be above mine with anything. Like I believed that like there was no such thing as like me being able to believe myself. Like I always had to believe the version of me that seemed like the best of what other people had already believed. But then when I started to move on from that, the rest of my life was willing to still hold the version of me that had already upgraded. Because I hadn't surpassed the pond that I was swimming in. I was just very small for the pond that I was swimming in, even though the pond was tiny. So how do you fix that? How do you become a bigger fish? But like, I have to waste so much of my time having a normal life because living is just what you're supposed to do. And then there's the other part of my brain that's like, yeah, but I could just live in the wilderness and like only eat rocks until I die, and like that would be so fun, wouldn't it? Like that's like how I perceive the other option. I'm like, I could physically just live in the wilderness bring nothing with me, no food, nothing, just literally eat rocks and dirt and then die. But clearly I'm not gonna do that, but like I'm so creatively open to that idea to where it's very unfortunate because half my brain's like, just do that. That's what people do. Like, and then the rest of me is like, well, if you are going to be like civilized, you have to be basically owned by somebody else in your life and not make any of your own choices and feel stuck forever. And then want to spend time trying to upgrade from where you are, but then you just self-sabotage because you're like, I don't know if I hate myself or what I'm doing wrong or why the whole planet is like so messed up or why I'm a part of the planet that's so messed up and why I have not outgrown wherever I currently am, even though I don't understand why I think that things would just randomly show up for me if I did outgrow it. That's not how it works. It's like if I, thought it would be so normal that someday I would just transform into like a hippopotamus, but like, it doesn't matter how much you manifest that. You're not gonna be a hippopotamus, But it's like, I didn't think that was what I was manifesting. I thought I was just trying to upgrade and outgrow myself, but like in a safe way, not in like a fall off of a cliff and die way. I thought there were ways. Am I still trying to believe that somebody else could know why? I hate having a conversation like this with like real people too. I mean, I know you're a real person, but like, when you're around somebody because they're like, well, obviously you just have to do this, and then they give you an answer that wouldn't even be true for them, let alone for you, but they can't even perceive who you are. Then you're like, that's the most useless answer I've seen in my life, but like, okay, you're not supposed to be around me. Next question. Like, clearly this doesn't work, I feel sometimes like when I'm putting out a song, like that's the right answer. Do I feel confident that I could make decisions on my own behalf in any way? No, not at all. Like I don't feel like I could do that. But why? Because I only think that other people's answers for how to live life are valid. And then no matter what, I don't have like valid answers. And I feel like every person I've ever met just confirms that belief a lot. I mean, I do question things that nobody questions, but that doesn't do a whole lot. I think one thing I can't get past is if I can't manifest something, I think it's because of like my body, like the physical body that I'm in. Like in my brain, I'm like, okay, so there's like, it's either like there's like it's like as if there's like a sigil like on your body, not a tattoo. It's not about that. It's not something I could have chosen in this life, which is like part of, and it's like not something I could unchoose, right? But it's not something I chose. Even before this life, it's like not something I chose, right? But it's like I have this like underlying belief that if I can't manifest something, it's because of the actual like body that I'm in. But I also hold the opposite belief that if it suddenly worked out for me, I would literally be stressed, so stressed. I would literally like panic because I'd be like, okay, so it's like about the actual like body that I'm in that like it worked. Like I have like that belief where like I can't outgrow that belief because I'm like, okay, so it's like the physical like vessel that I'm in that either was good enough for me to then have this experience, or like it was like not good enough and that like repels all experiences that I could have ever wanted to have. Like I have that like, I can't really fix it. I don't know how. And then I'm just like, I'm bored, but like, how am I going to matter in spite of being bored? That's a weird question. Anyway, I think that's all. I think I'm just gonna record some songs and try to figure out what jobs are in my area that I could literally like walk to or whatever, which is like literally nothing. How I'm gonna be fine with that enough to keep going in that direction for long enough to like get anywhere with that. How am I going to see that as upgrading in my life when I feel like I have better options that I'm just not confident enough or strong enough for? But being stuck in those structures doesn't help me to outgrow that. It wastes my time, but I can't cope with the time being wasted. I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna try to find out what to do. That's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye.